Hey guys, more questions from the gram. Let's get right into it today. Hello, Dr. Ish. I am praying you can give me some advice. I just lost my dad, and I'm currently about to lose my mom. Could happen at any moment. My anxiety's been so bad I haven't been able to hardly sleep or eat since when she came home last Wednesday. Every night from the time I get home from work, I'm plagued by horrendous thoughts about how she's going to pass. Now her lungs are filling up with fluids, so the current fear is her drowning. Then I'll rationalize whatever bad thoughts I'm having until they calm down. I do this over and over until I pass out. If I wake up for any reason, it starts all over. I'm jumpy as all get out, even though I've been taking care of her alone for years now. I'm scared I'm going to hurt her. I haven't been able to properly grieve my dad. Do you have any advice or tips on how I could use to deal with the anxiety or the grieving? Wow, so that's a lot. That's a lot. First of all, let me say how sorry I am for the loss of your dad. It's tough losing a parent. It's tough having two parents sick at one time. So what you've got going on is loss and grief that you haven't been able to complete. And then you've also got caregiver burnout, right? Because you were caring for your dad, now you're caring for your mom. And when you're doing that, it can become your whole life. It can become your whole identity, right? Okay, I get up, I go to work, but then everything else I do is for them. And that has a whole lot of different feelings that go with it, right? There's exhaustion, right? There's the physical stuff. You're tired, you're exhausted, you're scared, you don't know what's going to happen. Am I really qualified to do it? That whole thing. But on the other hand, there's a little bit of resentment that comes in, and that's natural, right? There's a little bit of, because we all need to have our own life, but we're choosing to do this thing for our parents who obviously have chosen to do it for us, and we don't have any qualms about it. We want to be there. We want to be the ones who are doing it. But at the same time, it gets to be all of who you are, and then there is some natural resentment that goes with that. And so you got to work through all these feelings, and the way for you to do that is just take a step back. Press pause, take a break, and realize who you are and who we are, right? We're humans. And the cool thing about the human thing is that we all know how the story ends. The story ends the same way for all of us. We all die in the end. We're all the heroes of our story, and we're the heroes that all transition in the end. And that's okay if you can think about it in the right way, right? Because here's the thing. That spark that made your mom who she is and made your dad who he was, that spark doesn't go away. That's energy. That energy stays the same. It's just going to be transformed and transitioned into a different form of energy that you're still going to feel, but you're not going to be able to see it every day and touch it every day and hug it every day, right? And so what you've got here is a prime opportunity to take full advantage of the time that you and your mom still have together, right? You're going to do the best you can from the caregiving standpoint. Control what you can. Stop worrying about the things you can't. How she goes, that's not your call. When she goes, that's not our call. What y'all do while she's here, that's totally your call, right? You've got those mother-daughter moments that have yet to happen. You get to have some cool conversations. You get to have some woman-to-woman talks, right? You get to find out who she really, really is and who she really, really was. Ask her about what were her thoughts and dreams when she was a little girl. Ask her about what she really wanted to be when she grew up. Ask her what are the things she's most proud of, some of the things she's not, right? Have those types of conversations and touch that energy, that spirit, because that's the part of her that you're going to keep, and that's going to stay with you and keep you warm when she's transitioning and when she's gone. When it comes to your dad, I'd write him a letter. Letter never sent works perfectly. Tell him how you're doing. Tell him how sad you are that he's gone. Tell him you miss him. Tell him all the things you would tell him if you had one last conversation with him. Tell him how hard it is now, missing him and trying to care for your mom and wondering what's that's going to be like when her story is time to end and her transition takes place. You know, I was talking to my sister Sheba about this just last weekend. We were going to see my dad, our dad, who is 85 now, down in Savannah. And we were riding along, and I was telling her about all the anxiety and the panic symptoms I had after we lost our mom 6 years ago. And she was telling me about some folks from work who she had been having the same conversation with, and they lost both parents. And they were talking about how it felt like they were orphans. And I was like, oh, wow, that hit me, yeah. And that really drove the point home for me, because what does it mean to be an orphan? It means you don't have parents, obviously, but it means that where do I get that love? Who's going to take care of me? I'm all alone out here. And that's the way I felt after our mom passed. I felt alone. I was terrified. I didn't know where I was going to go to get that love. I didn't know where I was going to go to get that concern, that empathy, that affection, that caringness, that willingness to just be a shoulder to listen or give you that word of advice. I had no idea where I was going to go to get that. And so for you, I imagine you're feeling a lot of those same things, being terrified about feeling alone. But here's what I would tell you. You're never gonna be alone, baby girl. That energy that they had, that energy that made your dad who he was, that energy that's making your mom who she still is, it never goes away. That part of them is also part of you. Latch on to it, hold on to it, stay connected to it. The problem is once they go physically, we miss them. And it's gonna take a while for you to figure out how to get back in touch with that cool side of them, that loving side of them, that side of them that made you smile without feeling the pain. And that's the grief process. It's going to take a while. But what you're going to find is, little by little, slowly but surely, you're going to have those times where you remember some conversations you had. It's going to make you smile. It's not going to hurt as much. You're going to remember some of those things you used to do together. It's going to make you laugh, and it's not going to hurt as much. But you got to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with your mom, and you got to give yourself a break. You're doing the best you can. Control what you can. Appreciate the things that you can't. And the main thing that you appreciate is the time that you and your mother still have together. And I hope that gives you some solace. I hope that finds you some peace as you go through this tough time and this tough transition. Thank you so much for writing in.